Ever heard of the Mongols or the humongous empire? Theirs was the largest land empire to ever exist. It was an empire so vast that historians record that at their peak, the Mongols controlled between 11 and 12 million continuous square miles, an area about the size of Africa. Without doubt, an empire so great could only have been ruled by a great leader. And that's why in today's video, we'll be detailing the life of Ghengis Khan, the great emperor of the Mongol Empire, and his mind-blowing wealth. You'd be blown, so keep up. Hey there, welcome to your #1 history channel, where we bring you mind-blowing and unparalleled videos of great persons and events in history. If you're an avid student of history, you'll definitely want to stick around. Make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and smash the notification bell to get notifications of when I post more interesting videos like this one. If you can, do leave us a comment as well. We'd love to hear what you think and enjoyed the most about today's video. Now, let's get to it. The great leader of the largest land empire to ever exist, Ghengis Khan was born in the year 1162, between modern-day Mongolia and Siberia. He was named Temujin at birth, and according to legend, his birth was auspicious as he came into the world clutching a blood clot in his right hand. His mother was kidnapped and forced into marriage by his father, as was a common practice at the time. The dozens of nomadic tribes on the Central Asian steppe were constantly fighting and stealing from each other, and life for Ghengis Khan was violent and unpredictable. His early years were anything but promising, and before he turned 10, his father was poisoned to death by an enemy clan. Ghengis Khan's own clan then deserted him, his mother, and his 6 siblings in order to avoid having to feed them. For a time, the small family led a life of extreme poverty, eating roots and fish instead of a normal nomad diet of mutton and mare's milk. Ghengis Khan developed a unique personality through his straitened circumstances, as well as the ability to attract supporters to himself through the sheer force of his personality from a very young age, who would soon kill his older half-brother and take over as head of the poverty-stricken household. At one point, he was captured and enslaved by the clan that had abandoned him, but he was eventually able to escape. In 1178, Temujin married Borte, with whom he had 4 sons and an unknown number of daughters. He launched a daring rescue of Borte after she too was captured, and he soon began making alliances, building a reputation as a warrior and attracting a growing number of followers. He was a ruthless ruler and a great conqueror. Ghengis Khan, together with his sons and grandsons, went to war on an immense scale and conquered more territories with their army in only 25 years than the Roman Empire did in 400 years. Though Ghengis Khan was an animist, his followers included Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists. By 1205, he had vanquished all rivals, including his former best friend Jamuka. The following year, he called a meeting of representatives from every part of the territory and established a nation similar in size to modern Mongolia. He also proclaimed Chinggis Khan, or Genghis Khan as is popular in the West, which roughly translates to universal ruler. The title carried not only political importance but also spiritual significance. With this declaration of divine status, it was accepted that his destiny was to rule the world, and having united the steppe tribes, Ghengis Khan ruled over some 1 million people. Religious tolerance was practiced in the Mongol Empire, but to defy the great Khan was equal to defying the will of God. Ghengis Khan wasted no time in capitalizing on his divine stature. While spiritual inspiration motivated his armies, the Mongols were probably driven as much by environmental circumstances. Food and resources were becoming scarce as the population grew. To suppress the common traditional cause of tribal warfare in his newly founded empire, Ghengis Khan abolished inherited aristocratic titles. He also forbade the selling and kidnapping of women, banned the enslavement of any Mongol, and made livestock theft punishable by death. He further ordered the adoption of a writing system, conducted a regular census, granted diplomatic immunity to foreign ambassadors, and as just mentioned, allowed freedom of religion as well, before that idea caught on in other civilizations that followed. Ghengis Khan's first campaign outside of Mongolia took place against Ziji Kingdom of northwestern China. In 1207, he led his armies against the kingdom of Ziji and, after 2 years, forced it to surrender. Ghengis launched a major initiative in 1209 that brought them to the doorstep of Yinshuan, the Ziji capital. Next, Ghengis and his army attacked the Jin dynasty of northern China in 1211, lured by the empire's seemingly endless rice fields and easy pickings of wealth. The ruler of the Jin dynasty made the grim mistake of demanding Genghis Khan's submission. So from 1211 to 1214, the overpowering Mongols ravaged the countryside and sent refugees pouring into the cities. Soon, food shortages became a problem, and the Jin army ended up killing tens of thousands of its own peasants. Although the campaign against the Jin dynasty lasted nearly 20 years, Genghis Khan's armies were also active in the west against border enemies and the Muslim world. In time, the conquest of Genghis Khan connected major trade routes of China and Europe. Ghengis has initially used diplomacy to establish trade relations with the Khwarezm dynasty, a Turkish Muslim-dominated empire that included Turkestan, Persia, and Afghanistan. The Mongol diplomatic mission was, however, attacked by the governor of Otrar, who believed the caravan was a cover for a spy mission. When Genghis Khan heard of this affront, he demanded the governor be extradited to him and sent a diplomat to retrieve him. Shah Muhammad, the leader of the Khwarezm dynasty, not only refused the demand, but sent back the head of the Mongol diplomat in defiance. Genghis Khan was greatly enraged by this act and personally took control of planning and executing a three-pronged attack of 200,000 Mongol soldiers against the Khwarezm dynasty. The Mongols swept through every city in the ancient dynasty with unprecedented savagery and spared not a single living thing in the aftermath of the attacks. With the complete annihilation of the Khwarezm dynasty, Genghis Khan once again turned his attention to East China. The Tanguks of Ziji had defied his order to contribute troops to the Khwarezm campaign and were in open revolt. The Tanguts were soon subdued, and Genghis Khan ordered the execution of the imperial family, thus ending the Tangut lineage. Genghis Khan died in 1227, soon after the submission of the Jin dynasty, and the exact cause of his death is largely unknown. Before his death, Genghis Khan bestowed supreme leadership to his son Agade, who controlled most of the eastern Asia including China. The rest of the empire was divided among his other sons. Some historians maintain that Genghis Khan fell off a horse while on a hunt and died of fatigue and injuries. Others contend that he died of respiratory diseases. Genghis Khan was buried without markings, according to the customs of his tribe, somewhere near his birthplace in northern Mongolia. The empire's expansion continued and reached its peak under Agade Khan's leadership. Mongol armies eventually invaded Persia, the Song dynasty in southern China, and the Balkans. They came further, as far as Austria, and just when the Mongol armies had reached the gates of Vienna, the Austrian capital city, leading commander Batu got word of the great Khan Agade's death and was called back to Mongolia. Subsequently, the campaign lost momentum, marking the Mongols' farthest invasion into Europe. By the time of his death in 1227, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, covering around 12 to 15 million square miles, and making Genghis Khan one of the wealthiest and most successful military commanders the world has ever known. Genghis Khan's net worth adjusted for present day is a staggering 120 trillion US dollars, which will make him the richest person to ever walk on the planet. For context, his wealth is equal to 3 times the combined net worth of all the companies in the world. The current market value of all of the lands owned and annexed by Genghis Khan is estimated to be over 90 trillion US dollars. He conquered and owned 9 million square miles in China, 2 million square miles in Syria, 1 million square miles in Korea, 4 million square miles in Russia, and 1 million square miles in the Middle East. An estimated 15 million square miles, as some historians put it. Genghis conquered mineral-rich lands, especially in China and Mongolia, that have enormous amounts of gold and precious metals. He's said to have owned gold and gold deposits that weigh an estimated 200,000 tons. This means the value of the gold owned by Genghis Khan will be over $10 trillion. Genghis also owned an estimated 270,000 horses that are combined valued at $13 billion when adjusted for their present-day value. While the stories remain true that Genghis Khan was a genocidal maniac, He helped create what was a diverse and equal society under which technology and culture flourished. His was an empire that had a wide and long-lasting impact on civilization on both the East and the West. Very few rulers have been able to achieve similar feats and amass as much as a fortune as Genghis Khan did.